Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Dian from CZT Hiromi Fukuoka. All right. This is a nice flowery looking tangle and inspired by the flower dianthus. So, hence the name. All right. I know my friend Diane is probably thinking, oh, they named it after me. Well, they did. All right. So this starts with an orb in the center. All of my Diane friends. All right. Then from here, um, pick whichever way you want to go. When you're working on a square tile, I find this helpful. I can either aim for the sides or the corner. I'm going to aim for the corner. And we're going to do a little bit of, well, kind of take off and sort of land. It's take off and stop, really. So the takeoff is tracing around the orb a little bit. It's kind of like a runway. And then we'll take off with maybe a slight S shape uh, coming out, whatever flare you want to put on that. So like this, and I'm aiming for the corners as I said. And this we just kind of stop. And then turn your tile and repeat the same thing. We just kind of want them nicely divided. Takeoff and land is usually we're landing and doing a similar thing here where we're tracing right over like another orb or something. But the concept is a good one, or the technique is a good one. All right. Then, and I split this in my step out. I added a step. I split this next step out into two. And then after I was doing it, I'm like, I could make this a little bit thicker, a little wider. So you can play with that. But from here, from the tip, we're going to just do a little jagged line. I'm starting down first and doing, I guess I'm doing, well, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to end up with an up. So do as many zigs and zags as you want. And if you end up with something that seems a little bit too short, you can always kind of trace over and then start the zigzag from there. And you can play with how high, or the distance here. It could be, I don't know, how do I want to do that? Shallow, deep, I don't know. I think you get what I mean though. All right. I'm ending with these all up because the next step, which if you want to do it all in one step, that's fine. My brain did not want to comprehend that. So I just thought, oh, I'm going to do this. And then, from wherever you end, we're just going to bring it back in. You could add a little flair to it if you want to. That's up to you. Just bringing that in and around that center orb. Then, this one, we're going to do a little Hollaball technique. So we're going to draw somewhat behind this. So like this one corner is going to be behind here. So starting from the top, and again, however you want to start it, and that you can have it be all one step. Again, completely up to you. Essentially, we have I can't think, talk, and tangle at the same time. Apparently, we're going to have four petals, if you will. So just knowing that. Although, if you have a bigger one, you end up with more space, or you've made them narrower, then that's fine too. What I love is, as I'm doing this, I'm like, well, this looks awful. The things that go through our heads, um, which is a fun thing about Zentangle to work at getting rid of that. The next one we're just going to do, this one isn't going to Hollaball up and above, although I didn't raise that up too high. You could raise that second one up a little higher if you wanted to, but this one, going to do like so. And then you can just, this one can be a complete hollaball like that, just all the way behind. But yeah, so we are, our thoughts are what our thoughts are. And it's a fun thing to work to get rid of that. Self two is how it's termed in actually it's the same. I think it's probably the same in both, but the inner game of music is one book that I read about that, and it's by the same authors that wrote the inner game of golf. I think he's probably got lots of inner games of fill in the blank by now. But that little voice that just likes to chime in and be negative and stuff, we just have to learn to keep it at bay. Mine like to end up being kind of squarish looking, but that's okay. It's my Dian, and I can do what I want with it. So then, as a finishing touch, you could, from the center, add a little line or two if you have enough room. I like to just to lift off the pen from the paper like that, so it's kind of trailing, and it makes it kind of soft. I can fit two in, and if you have like these up here, I would just you could do like that if you want. Oops. That adds some automatic shading, and it just, I don't know, it makes it look really really neat. So, in the for more inspiration link, do take a look. It has a sample from Hiromi, as well as pictures of the dianthus flowers that were her inspiration, and yeah. Oh, and the other thing, I'm looking at Linda's her little thumbnail, because I always think that it's interesting, what she ends up doing, and I think it's a cute idea. I'm gonna do that. She put three little orbs inside. Now a lot of times I'll do orbs, and then use that as the shine. This kind of makes it look like seeds a little bit. Yeah, it's a little therefore on the inside. Uh, cool. And if you don't know what that is, you can search my channel for the Tangle Therefore. It is also a mathematical term. So yeah, so that's just neat. And I'm putting it that way because otherwise it starts looking like a little face, a scared face. Now, if you wanted to do some additional shading, we can have fun with these places that are behind. You could accentuate, which I'm going to do. I'm going to put some graphite right around that base. So even though we put in the lines, it's kind of fun to also put some graphite. And actually, I'm following the way the lines go with my tortillon. So I'm pulling it out in the manner that I made these lines, and that's helpful. All right, then you could add a little teeny bit if you wanted to where these tuck underneath. And I'm trying. Well, this one I don't have to be so careful because it's way behind. Let's do it this way. That helps. It's always nice to have the tortillon, the tip of it. I like to say sometimes on the line that you don't want to go over. I've heard Rick say on the line that you want to have be darkest, and that makes sense too. And this way I can just go all the way around the one side. Oh, we have to remember there. Oh yeah, that's still. This is on top of this. And then you can have fun with how dark you go. Of course, you add color if you want to add color. Oh, see how neat that's starting to look. Now, if you happen to have chalk pencils, in colors, that is really fun to instead of the graphite, use the chalk pencils or charcoal pencils, whichever way. I was like, no, I have white charcoal pencil and I have other colors in chalk. I mean, and if you like colored pencils, you can do that. Colored pencils don't really, they're harder to make a gradient with, but you could still, if you wanted to add color, you could just add color to those places, and that would be rather neat. So, yeah. Other thought. Well, if I should do another one. Oh, maybe I will. Other thought. If you didn't want to do this, you could do in the center and then around the outside, and it gives it that like curved look. So, but I kind of like this. It looks neat. It gives it layers and some motion. So neat. Tangle. So if you enjoyed this, would love to have a thumbs up or a like on the video. Feel free to share it. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, would love to have you be a subscriber. Also, in the description section, below the links to step outs, ways to connect with me if you wish to. I do classes every week, mostly free. I do have some that have a fee, which helps afford me to be able to do all the free ones. But come and join me for free. And we'll tangle something like this and play with it. And it's an hour session. And sometimes I might pair it with something else. You can always throw in other things that you want. We just have a fun time focusing in on one tangle or two. Again, just depends. Usually it's just one. But we focus in on that, and then we see what beautiful work everybody created. It's a fun time. It's a good mental health break, creative boost, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you need at the moment, that's what it is. So would love to have you join us. And with that, thanks so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.